I have Canadian hard rock and heavy metal royalty in one little picture here. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this. This is there's so much to talk about, and I think all three of us, because of this COVID thing that's going on, there's been only one option to do. It's called create.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that it's really rocked the world of a lot of my colleagues and friends because, we had a whole bunch of summer tour dates planned when we went into this album that we're working on right now, which is not the Christmas album. I just want to clarify that. The Christmas album came out this past week with a video and everything, which was a fun thing to do for Christmas, and also a last minute Lee Aaron band idea. But this album was started actually the week that COVID exploded in March. We were in another studio starting to work on this, and then we got sidelined for the summer because our tour dates didn't happen, and we just completed all our tracks at home. And now we're in the studio with the illustrious Mr. Mike Fraser here doing some unbelievable mixes. I'm so excited.
We're rocking away. We're having a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was really happy that when Lee emailed me that I learned that you were going to power up your computer and we could do this.
I see what you did there.
Can you please tell me your working relationship? How do you guys meld together?
Oh, well.
It was, it was just on the first day. It was the first time I met Karen, and from the first day she walked in, it's kind of been like we've been old friends for a long time. It just came together really naturally. We have a hard time getting work done because we're just sitting here chatting about, the day, the COVID, how do we do that? And, we're just chatting about all sorts of stuff. Oh yeah, I guess you better listen to this mix. I mean, it's just been great.
It's, I felt the same way, Mike, when
cool.
we were, one of the jokes the first couple of days was just how we had both been in the Vancouver area for so long. We knew so many of the same people. We had traveled in so many of the same rock and roll circles, yet it was like that 6 degrees of separation. We'd never actually met. So when I called Mike up and I said, I've got these tracks and we need someone with fantastic ears to mix it, he's like, okay. He even wears Lee Aaron's shirt today. Look at that.
I know. I love that. No, I love that. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
No, and so it's just been, I already knew going into this that Mike was the guy with the sounds that I was looking. We were looking on this album for modern but organic, if that makes any sense. We want to sound like a rock and roll band, not overly processed, the way we actually sound when we play live. And I knew Mike had those ears, and there's actually been very little for me to really do here except to go, I don't know, I think, the bass could come down or the vocal could come up, or can we stick that over, so it's on the far left, or, we're just having fun, really. Yeah.
But I paint in big broad strokes, and I kind of get it, I don't know, 90% there, 95% there. And then Karen and Dave come in and they go, oh yeah, sounds great. How about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, little kind of thing. And then it just goes bang and we're done and on to the next song. It's been pretty painless.
Yeah.
But given your resume and all the bands that you've worked with, how did you envision wanting to work with Karen Lee, the Metal Queen?
It's funny, when she walked in, I said, I've always wanted to work on the Lee Aaron stuff, for years. And it's just funny. It's just taken this long, and we're in the middle of this pandemic in 2020, and then then let's put these two together. And it's been great. So in one sense, I'm kind of been like a fan, and now I'm getting to work with her. So it's been great.
And there's this old saying that when you knock on wood, it gives you luck. So given the resume and the album that he did a couple of months ago that just came out, that's like the #1 thing on the planet, you must be fist bumping him or knocking him on the head to get good luck for what you're creating.
Lots of elbow bumps.
Yeah, lots of elbow bumps. In fact, I think this is the closest we've been together
Right.
unmasked in this whole time that we've been here. But, you know, I don't really sort of look at my career that way or my music that way, that, you know, we are Lee Aaron. We're uniquely Lee Aaron. We have a cool band sound. Our thing is, it's not AC/DC. It's what we do. But my impetus here was I just wanted a world-class person that was going to make it sound absolutely great. Give the songs because you know what? A bad mix can wreck your record. Bad mastering can wreck your record. And you know, and I think for me as an artist, it's just, I'm constantly on that quest to achieve the ultimate sound, you know? And so being able to work with someone like Mike here, who has the pedigree that he has just been an absolute dream, you know? Our stuff's just, you know, popping out of the speakers. It sounds amazing. So I'm very, very, very excited.
And you know, when I'm working on a record and mixing, I guess I kind of have a sound, but you know, I don't try and make everybody sound the same. I try and make the band sound like the band and make it sound the best I can. So, you know, this band isn't going to sound like AC/DC or Def Leppard or anything else. It's going to sound like Lee Aaron, you know. And that's my goal anyways, is to, you know, they're a unique band, so make them sound like them. I don't want every band to sound the same. So hopefully we're achieving that.
Yeah, you know, and go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, like, as a longtime fan though, what would you like to have her sound like?
Just exactly what we're doing. Like, it's,
now you're molding,
you know, she's got a great voice, so you want to feature that. She's got great melody, so you want that there. On all this stuff, there's some great harmony, so we're featuring that. The guitars are big and rocking, and the drums are slamming. So that's all I want to do, is I just want everything loud at the same time, but crystal clear, so you can hear what everybody's doing.
Yeah, and that's what I love about what Mike seems to do, is when he's working on a project, he has the ability to immediately sort of find, like, what is the heart of this band? What's the soul of this band? You know, obviously AC/DC has a thing that uniquely, I see you've got an AC/DC shirt on. I just noticed that. You know, they've got that thing. Woohoo!
Yeah, awesome.
You know, they've got that thing that is uniquely them. Nobody sounds like them. You know what I mean? And but I think, you know, we have our thing that is uniquely us. And Mike is really great. Like, I don't think I've ever worked with somebody as intuitive as you, where you just go, I know what you're wanting to hear out of this. Right on. And the way Mike works is he likes to get it to a place where he knows we're going to be happy. And then we just sort of come in and tweak a little here and there. Yeah.
So what does Lee Aaron look like in 2021 musically? Where are you going to take us?
These are hard questions. It's a rock and roll record. I don't know that I would say it's a metal record. It's a rock and roll record, right, Mike? It's a rock, just like AC/DC's rock and roll too, right? You know, it's a rock and roll record. I know that when we got together to write these songs, we did it a little differently for this album. We got together rather than sending because, you know, we're a bi-coastal band. My guitar player, Sean Kelly's in Toronto. Yeah. Rather than getting together in a room, or rather than sending files back and forth, sorry, that's what I meant to say. We actually flew them in. We got together in a room for our music room at my home for a weekend. And we were like, okay, you know what? We're going to do this old school. We're going to bring our best, 3 or 4 song ideas each, bring your A game. And we didn't put any restrictions on ourselves. We decided we're not going to set out to write pop radio hits. We're not going to set out to write anything. We're going to write an album that we would have wanted to listen to when we were 18 years old, writing in a garage band. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And it sounds like that, a lot of it. It's
Yeah,
got that
yeah.
kind of, it's got that kind of energy to it where we're like, you know, who cares if this vamp goes on for 3 minutes? It's really cool. And I'm going to do some Robert Plant licks you know, and it's so, yeah, a couple of the songs are a little broad that way. And, but I think it really works in the end.
So aside from the obvious, like what real true challenges have you been facing with this whole COVID thing, like in terms of being like a pure artist? Like what really frustrates you? What makes you go look in the mirror, oh my God, I'm so pissed off that I can't do this. I can't do this now.
Do you want to answer first, Mike?
Both of you, sure.
Well,
He's got the frame here.
yeah. It's just frustrating. I'm sure for Karen, the band spread all over the place. Only a few of us could come into the studio at the time. We can't have the whole band come in at the end and listen to the mix. So there's a little bit of that. For me, I hate wearing my mask. Fortunately, when I'm by myself, I can go maskless. And like, this is the first time that we've actually been this close without a mask. But, it's been almost 2 weeks. So we're almost in the bubble now anyways.
Yeah.
And, for me, the obvious is, the work's kind of slowed down a lot because bands just don't have the money to come into the studio and work. So, I've been sort of practicing alcoholism and it's just, mowing the lawn and trimming the tree. My yard's never looked as great as it has this year.
Now, how about continue, sorry.
Oh, for me, it's, having all these great concerts. We were going to Europe. We were on Sweden Rock Festival this year, having all of these great concerts that we were so looking forward to, postponed and pushed into the future, the, indeterminate future. Like, we don't know when live music is going to come back. So as someone that loves performing and loves being on stage and, feeding off an audience, because we're also insecure, we really need to do that. We need to get up and play in front of thousands of people to make ourselves feel good about ourselves. I think it was Bono that said that, actually. That's been hard. And having a bi-coastal band has been tough. It would be a lot sweeter if we all lived in the same city, which is because we connected obviously multiple times a year when we were touring and doing other things, which has been hard. What else? In some ways, it's been really positive, I think, for us. I don't think we would have made a Christmas record if it wasn't for COVID, because we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it, and we'd always been so busy, and this presented an opportunity. So the upside for me is just that, I've beefed up my home studio. I'm working in Logic. My engineering skills are way up, and I'm comping my own vocals and editing guitars and flying in drum stuff. And so I've upped my game in terms of home recording. So that's kind of the positive thing that's come out of it. But it's been rough seeing a lot of my crew members. I was telling someone this earlier. They're really hurting right now because without live music, these guys don't have any work. And it's been tough. I was on the phone with my old sound guy just a couple of days ago and, trying to lift his spirits a bit, but yeah.
No, but let's maybe take this on a little bit more of a positive thing. You guys are at Armory Studios, right?
Yeah.
And like the heritage there, like Bruce Fairbairn, Jim Vat, like that is just like so historic. Do you feel the lover boy and you know what I mean? There's just so many classic, not just classic records, classic Canadian records that came out of that whole world. Like it's really kind of makes me my spine is tingling.
It's pretty exciting, honestly. Like, I'm feeling the Aerosmith energy here, baby, for sure. There is a back room. I wish we could take you back there.
We might be able to walk you back there.
Yeah, we might be able to walk you back there when we're here. And besides a bunch of vintage recording gear back there, there's all these old tracking sheets on the wall, these tracking posters from all these bands over the years. And it's just like, I was taking pictures and posting it on my Instagram the other day. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. I don't think we can take the Ethernet. I think we'll lose our Ethernet.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long that cord is. We'll try when we're done. And if we lose it.
So it's definitely there's definitely a cool energy. There's different energies in different studios. When we were in Hipposonic, which was the old little mountain for our last two albums. It definitely felt the energy in there too. And then we recorded the bed tracks for this album that Mike is mixing right now in Afterlife, which is the old Mushroom. So I'm doing the studio rounds.
Yeah, the heritage.
So, yeah.
And this whole Christmas thing that's rolling out, you know what? I don't like to talk about Christmas when it's November, but it is what it is. There's got to be fond memories everyone has fond memories when they're like a little kid at Christmas time. Like Christmas, it's really weird this time because not that Christmas is canceled, and I'm not being a Grinch, but you actually may be saving Christmas with your Christmas record.
Oh, well, you know, it's a rock and roll Christmas record. You haven't heard all the tracks yet. It's a really cool little album. Our idea going into this album was not to record the same fare that everybody, I mean, really, who needs to hear Lee Aaron sing Silent Night again, right? I mean, these songs have been done a million times. So I actually went and picked quite a few Christmas, but rock and roll obscurities. And we just did it our own style and made it really fun. I mean, I played Mike some tracks the other day and he was just like totally grooving to it. So it was fun. You know, and I think, you know, we didn't go into the Christmas album thinking we're going to make a Christmas record and make money off it. It was more of like, what can we do to lift our own spirits and lift our fans' spirits in this holiday season, since we're all trapped at home? Hey, let's make a cool Christmas record. And the reason, of course, we put it out now because the truth is, if we didn't, there's no way fans could order it and actually receive it before Christmas. Because if you roll these things out in December, people don't get them in time because of the Christmas mail, right? So it was necessary to do it now. I know, because I go into stores and I'm like, Christmas decorations, right? I'm that person too. So, but yeah, and we just tried to have a real blast doing it, real fun doing it. So
I'm just so enamored by the fact that you're sitting with the producer of the last AC/DC record. So
I told you, he just wants to talk to you. He doesn't want to talk to me.
And Brendan produced it. I
know. Are you allowed to talk about it for a little bit? Are you allowed to talk about it for a moment?
Not quite yet. We can chat later, like another time. But
have you heard it, Lee?
Oh, it's amazing. Yes, it sounds amazing. This man, the engineering and mixing skills of this man, yes, for sure.
You know what's amazing is he's been behind the scenes for so many, and I love how stealth you are, and maybe that's why so many people admire you, because nobody knows anything, and that's the way it should be. So hey, respect to you. Amazing.
Thank you.
But no, it's a great sounding record. I mean, AC/DC is one of those magical bands that manages to sort of make the same type of record over and over again, but just with ultimate
payoff
and class and style, and it's a great AC/DC record. What can I say?
And you know what? Everyone's really been suffering at different degrees. Mm-hmm. And when I first heard "Shot in the Dark," like that 10 seconds, I was like, wow. This whole shithole of the years being saved by like 2 riffs, you know what I mean? Or like 10 seconds of a song. It's seriously, and the record's amazing. I know you can't talk about it, but I just thought I would end on that because you're sitting with the man. No, it's wonderful. Thank you for all this. This is amazing.
Well, you know, it's great. I think the thing with the AC/DC coming out now too is that, you know, we needed some fresh music and some fresh rock music. Like there hasn't been some fresh rock in a while, and there's a lot of great songs out there, but you know, we've all heard them a million times, and it's like it's time for something new, you know. And I'm glad to put it out. Like, you know, I'm sure they don't know when they're going to tour next. Like that's kind of all up in the air, but to me that makes it positive because something must be in the works for 2021, you know.
Who knows? But you know what? You're right, because most of the industry, especially in North America, has not anything to do with a riff. And you guys are waving the flag of the riff. So keep doing it.
So is this lady.
No, that's what I mean.
Rocket songs, boy.
No, and you know what? I agree with you. When it came out, in fact, it was last week, and I'm like, I'm like, holy crap, Mike, you're like number 5 on Billboard right now. It entered number 5 on Billboard with a bullet. And I was just like, that is how starved people are for good old fashioned rock and roll. And you know, what can I say? I've tried to stay the steady course, you know?
But you know what? You are such an inspiration to women, to everybody with what you've done. Like you're like the longevity of you. I don't know where the hell your fountain of youth is. Your voice sounds amazing. You look amazing. I'm not trying to kiss you, you know what, because I don't need to do that. It's just, it is what it is. Yeah. It's right there. It's true.
My honey.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what to say. Thank you. I say you know, my kids keep me young. Rock and roll keeps me young. I don't know. I'm like an 18-year-old girl trapped inside a lady's body. Well, I don't know what to say. Like, that's how I feel. I feel like, you know, with my kids, I'm like, why do I feel like I'm still pretending to be a grown-up every day of my life? And I've met my soulmate here in Mike Fraser, because he's exactly the same way. We're like,
teenagers.
Yeah, let's be immature together.
But
I gotta say, her voice sounds like she's 18 too.
it's insane. It's insane. Maybe my last question, and we've talked about this before, real quick, is the fact that you built up this whole Metal Queen thing, and is that still like
a thing?
A thing? Is that like, do you still hear about that all the time? Going, oh my God, you're the Metal Queen, and we need you back to be the Metal Queen. You're just the queen to me.
Thank you. That actually does make me feel. You know, what I have mixed feelings around it, because I wrote a song called Metal Queen when I was like 19 years old. It was just a song, but then it became my nickname for the rest of my life, which kind of sucks, right? Because, you know, I just think there's other women, you know, that are probably doing that better than me, you know, Doro Pesh, maybe Lizzie Hale, that are definitely more metal than I am. You know, for me, I've always, you know, there's always been a little bit of a rhythmic bluesy kind of thing, we would say, with my material. I think it definitely is more on the line of melodic rock or just pure rock and roll. But so the problem I have sometimes is just when I'm doing interviews with these like German metal magazines, they're just like, oh, Lee, you know, is your next album going to be more metal? And I'm going, well, you know, maybe not. It's going to be what it is, right? And, you know, I'm just trying to stay the course and do what I do best. It has to be authentic to me and the band, right? And we're a rock and roll band.
This is maybe the most ridiculous, redundant question, but is there somewhere in your heart that just keeps driving you to say to yourself, I still need to rock? Because when I saw you banging your head to Bing Crosby, I'm like, this chick really still wants to rock.
Absolutely. That's a question?
Maybe it's a statement.
Yes, that's a question, of course. It's just like, you know, I always say to my kids, you know, I guess maybe the day that I start looking like a cartoon picking up a guitar, I might hang it up, but I haven't had any complaints lately. So, you know, I don't know, just keep doing it because it's fun, right? It's just, you know, Mike and I were both, that was one of the discussions we had. We just still love rock music. We love doing it, right? And there's no rules that say we can't. I mean, hey, you know.
And that's one of the things with the COVID too, getting sort of shut in and shut down, and we both need to be creative and you know, you let's do our Christmas album and let's do, you know, and this record. And me, you know, like, you know, I'm at home, you know, mixing the sound on my TV or something, like, you know, you got to get creative, and it's like this animal trapped in you. So that's why this couple, you know, weeks with Karen has been great, because it's like, oh, finally creating something. Oh, it's like a release.
I get to like get out of my yoga pants and go to the studio. Yeah.
And rock. You know, it's been great.
You guys rock. Thank you so much.